everyone. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we'll be discussing Footprints Without Feet Supplementary Reader in English for Class 10. We will now begin our 7th chapter, The Necklace by Guy de Maupassant. This is a famous short story about a young woman who longs for a luxurious life despite being born into a modest family. So her desire for wealth, status leads her to make a choice that changes her life forever. So let's go into the story. It's the first part. What happens is Matilda Loisel is a pretty young woman who was born into a poor clerk's family. She feels she deserves a life full of luxuries, beautiful dresses, and jewels, but instead she is married to a simple government clerk. In a modest apartment she lives. Her dissatisfaction makes her unhappy and resentful of her married life and her life on a whole. So when her husband brings home a rare invitation to a grand party at the minister's residence, she expects much more excitement, and he expects much more excitement from her. But instead, Matilda is now upset because she has nothing elegant to wear, and not because she has to go to some place really expensive. She has no expensive clothes, so she begins to worry about that. So she cries and complains, forcing her husband to give her 400 francs, his entire savings, to buy her a new dress for the event, even though he had saved that money to buy a gun that he wished for a long time. So now you'll see the comprehension section. What kind of person is Madame Loisel? So Madame Loisel is a beautiful but materialistic and discontented woman. How we can say that is she, even though she was born poor, even though she has a very satisfied life, a minimal life but satisfied life, she wants more things in life. She wants luxuries, pearls, diamonds, elegant dresses, chauffeurs, workers at the who are there for her beck and call, and all those things she expects, just like an aristocrat's household. She wants to be like that. So, because of this, what she does is she constantly compares her life with her rich friends, and she feels that she is entitled to richness and wealth and comfort. And even though her circumstances are against it, she wants more. And this mismatch between her dream and reality keeps her perpetually unhappy, constantly unhappy, feeling depressed. So, what kind of person is her husband? So, we only get to know him as M. So, what kind of person he is? So, Mr. Loisel, in that sense, is the opposite of his wife. He is very simple, caring, and content. Whatever he has, he is happy with it. And he is always there to make her happy. However, whatever she wants, he is there to accomplish it and make her happy. He gives up all his savings just so that she can buy a new dress for the event. So he is loving, he is supportive, he tries his best to make Matilda happy, and he is selfless, just like he gives away all of his savings just for her to buy one dress. And he is hardworking and responsible. He earns modestly, but he manages the household with care. For this long, he has been able to do that. He have been able to afford a house, proper house. Then he is practical and grateful, and he enjoys simple pleasures. Just as he comes home from work, he just sees a pot pie and he is happy with that pot pie. He is content with it. He does not require extravagant dinner meals like caviar, lobster, steak, and other things he doesn't ask. Whatever his wife cooks with love, and whatever is filled with warm and cozy love, it is enough for him. So he wants peace and happiness in his home. So he sacrifices his own wishes to make sure that his wife is happy. So we'll go to the next part. So what happens in the next part? As the day of the grand ball arrives, Madame Loisel is very anxious again. Why? Because this time her dress is ready, but she has no jewelry to wear to the new party with the new dress. Because it is accessories. Accessories have to be worn. Just we can't go with a empty neck, she thinks. So she feels she will look very poor in front of everyone just because she's wearing a good dress. She doesn't have any jewels. She will feel poor. So she complains this to her husband again. So her husband suggests borrowing some jewelry from her wealthy neighbor, Mrs. Forestier. She is also a rich neighbor also. So he suggests that she go to her and get something. So she goes and visits Madame Forestier, and she even says like, choose whatever you want. She brings out boxes and asks her to choose whatever she wants. So delighted, she finally chooses a diamond necklace, which fills her with joy and confidence. So she says that I will take this and I'll bring back soon. So Miss Forestier also allows that. On the night of the ball, Madame Loisel becomes a sensation. Admired for her beauty, elegance, and charm, she enjoys the event immensely and forgetting her modest life for a while. After the ball, the Loisels come back home in an old carriage, exhausted. And when Madame Loisel is taking off her dress and everything, she takes one last look at her self in the mirror. At that time, she is shocked to find that the diamond necklace is missing. So this ends the second part. So now we will see the comprehension. What fresh problem now disturbs Madame Loisel? So what problem arises after the first problem of finding a new dress is finding jewelry for her dress, because she has no jewelry to wear with her new dress to the grand ball. So she fears that people will assume that she is poor and insignificant and that she is not welcome among rich people. All these thoughts embarrass her and humiliate her. Next one, how is the problem solved? So how is the problem solved? The problem is solved when her husband suggests that she borrow jewelry from her wealthy friend Mrs. Forestier. Mrs. Forestier is their rich neighbor. So Madame Loisel visits her and chooses a beautiful diamond necklace, which makes her very happy and confident enough to attend the ball. We'll go to the final part. So what happens in the final part? After returning from home from the grand ball, Madame Loisel and Mr. Loisel find out that they have lost the diamond necklace. So they are both horrified to discover that the diamond necklace that she borrowed from modern Mrs. Forestier has been lost. And that is something much more valuable because it is a diamond necklace. So they immediately began searching her dress and her folds of dress, her hair, and everywhere on the floor, everywhere they search, it is not found. Then Mr. Loisel, he says, I'll go on a walk. I'll trace back our steps and try to find out if it has fallen down somewhere. So desperately they are searching here and there, tracing their steps, calling the cab back again and asking them whether they found anything in the carriage, and putting out advertisements and even going to the police. But they fail to find it. Completely hopeless, they decide to replace the necklace. They find that in one shop it is available. And they purchase the identical one for a huge sum of 36,000 francs. So forcing Loisel to use his entire savings and borrow the rest. He has around 18,000. The next one he has to borrow from everybody that he knows. Any usurers or loan sharks. From everybody he knows, he is buying money, promising them that he will return them. Like that, they are able to get around 36,000 francs, which was the money of the replacement diamond necklace. So that one, they buy the diamond necklace from the store. So in order to do this, this became a crushing debt to the Loisel family. So they had to give up all their comforts and move into a small attic room. Attic room in the sense the topest floor of the house, and mostly they will be having only one window in it, a small room. So attic room. And Madame Loisel, she works tirelessly doing heavy household work. So we can assume that before they used to have at least one maid at the house. So they are doing all those household chores she's doing, while her husband is working extra hours and extra jobs to make sure that he pays the monthly loans. And all is being done for years and years and years. After 10 long years of poverty and suffering, they are able to finally repay all their loans. And later, when Madame Loisel meets Madame Forestier on the road one day, they both compare each other's looks and how Loisel has become very lean and very worn out like that. And she says that she finally reveals the truth that they had lost the necklace after coming from the party. So they had replaced the necklace, diamond necklace. So all these years they have been working so hard to repay the loans taken for the necklace. But Madame Forestier reveals the truth that the necklace was a fake one, not real diamond, and the original necklace was the diamond one, and this was a replacement, an imitation, which was worth only $500, 500 francs, nearly 500 francs. So this shocks Loisel. Like, she has been in suffering for 10 years because of this. And she has lost even the small bit of comfort that she used to have. So now we'll go to the comprehension section. So what do Mr. M and Madame Loisel do next? So what they do next after finding out that the necklace is missing? So they frantically search for it. They look through her clothes and cloak, pockets and everywhere, and then they retrace the steps to the party, to the house on foot, and advertise a reward. And in newspaper they put it, and they put it in the police station also, complained it in the police station also. So when all these efforts fail, they decide to replace the diamond necklace. So how did they replace the diamond necklace? So what they did was, they find a shop at the Palais Royal, and they found the same design of necklace there, which seems to be the exact copy of what they lost. So it was valued at 40,000 francs. So they could get it for 36,000. So Loisel possessed 18,000 francs, which was his father's inheritance to him. So he borrowed the rest from usurers and lenders and loan sharks and everybody. He got the rest of the amount, and they culminated around 36,000 francs, and they purchased the necklace. Now we'll go back to the look back questions. The course of Loisel's life changed due to the necklace. We have to comment it. So what we can say is, Matilda and her husband's lives changed completely after losing that necklace. To replace it, they had borrowed huge sum of money from many people. So they had spent the next 10 years in extreme poverty. They worked hard, lived miserably, and sacrificed all their comforts. What little comfort they had to lose that. The lost necklace pushed them from a simple, content life into years of hardship. You can find this in the text also. So after they had borrowed the money and replaced the necklace, they had to send away the maid because they can't pay her. They changed their lodgings also. They used to be in a contented house, single apartment, as we mentioned before. Now they have to rent rooms in the attic. So those rooms are very much cheaper than the apartments. So that one they had to change to. Then she washed her solid linen, clothes, dishcloths, dishes. So we can assume that they already had persons doing this. The maid used to do this work. Now she has to do this. They have then clothes has to be washed and dried on the line. Then she has to take down the garbage from the refuse, garbage from the house to the street, and brought up water. All these things used to be done by the maid or a servant of some kind. Now she has to do all this because her husband is working full time plus extra at his office. And next one, she started wearing normal clothes, normal work clothes, type of clothes. Like she used to be at least decent at the house. She used to at least wear some good clothes. But now she is wearing hard and working clothes, something that lasts for a long time. So those kind of clothes she began to wear. And then she has to visit the butcher, the fruiterer, everything she has to do now by herself. And so every last bit of money, they have to find an answer for it. They could not spend it intentionally also, unintentionally also on something else. So they have to be very careful of how they spend every single coin. And her husband, he works in the evening also. He starts extra work, extra jobs. Just for some 5 coins, he has been working extra because that 5 coins will come in help by either in their life or in the loan repayment. So every single money was being counted for and earned for. So all this lasted for 10 years for them. Next question. What was the cause of Matilda's ruin and how could she have avoided it? So we can say Matilda's ruin is because of her pride and desire, her greed mostly, to appear wealthy. Even though she is content and she is happy, she could be happy. She has a loving husband, she has a modest life, and she has a beautiful home. But still, she wanted more things, more luxury, more wealth. So she borrowed a necklace to look elegant but lost it. And then she tried to replace it secretly without being honest with Mrs. Forestier, which led to a massive debt. That she could have avoided all this by telling Mrs. Forestier the truth, being honorable, and immediately admitting the loss instead of hiding it, and being satisfied with what she had. So all these are the reasons for her ruin. So what would have happened if Matilda had actually confessed to Mrs. Forestier? So if Matilda confessed to Mrs. Forestier, she would have discovered that the necklace was not original, that it was an imitation, and it cost merely 500 francs. And that one they could have paid easily, like 2 months or 3 months of his work, and they could have easily paid her. But she didn't reveal it. So Madame Forestier would not have got angry because it was an imitation. And Loisel's would have avoided 10 years of struggle, debt, and sacrifice and suffering. Because her honesty on that day could have saved her from misery for the 10 long years. Next question. If you were caught in a situation like this, how would you deal with it? You can always write like you have to be honest. Always be honest and tell the owner or tell the adult what had happened. Because honesty is the best policy. So you should apologize and be honest. Any problem can be solved. So you have to be honest and make sure that you are polite in being honest and that you are remorseful in your mistake. so that the person who is receiving that feels also determines to forgive you for the missing, and they will also help you to find a solution for the mistake. So there is always a solution, and even if it is hurtful, we can make it you causing you heartbreak or humiliation. It is just for a few days. After that, you will be able to restore your life back on track. You will be able to move on. This is what is mean. You have to see when being honest. If you are thinking that I will suffer, I will feel bad, and they will feel bad about me, that will happen. That is sure to happen, but it will be for few days. So you have to be honest to any mistake to the adult or the owner. And mistakes happen, and hiding the truth usually makes things work worse, because you have to lie on top of lying and top of lying on top of lying. It will go on. So we don't know for what extent. And it at final stage it may become a monstrous lie that it cannot be saved back. Even when at that time, when you are trying to be sorry again, when you are going to be honest again, it won't fulfill these many lies that you have said to them. At least when the first time you are being honest, they will think good of you. They will trust you again. But after many lies, you tell them the truth, then it has become untrustworthy. They will think that so long he has been able to lie to me. Why is he now revealing the truth? So you immediately become untrustworthy because of the time gap. So you have to mention that also. Then you can say, like, you can apologize and then try to replace or compensate. You can ask whether can I replace this? Can I compensate this? According to my ability and my capability, I can do this. You can reveal that like that. And avoid falling into larger problems. That is what it is meant by. Like, you can avoid all this just by being honest in the first instance itself. So next one. Talk about it. The characters in the story speak in English. Do you think that is their language? So since the author of the story, he is a French short story writer, we can assume that this is a French story and written in French. So it has been translated to us in English. If you see, you can find the words such as Madame and Loisel and all those things, like Champs-Élysées, and all those things are in France. So you can assume that this is a French short story that has been translated to us in English. Next one, honesty is the best policy. So what we can say about this is honesty builds trust, as I mentioned before. If you are honest in the first instance, you will gain trust of the other person and they will be willing to forgive you. And that trust strengthens your relationships. And whether it is a professional or personal or a social relationship, trust only deepens it. So you have to be honest in the first instance itself. And you should not take time. That time makes you untrustworthy. So being truthful in life is simple. Lies create complications that eventually will harm us, because it will make you become a thief. In case you have lost things, means you will be cornered as a thief. So that one we don't want. That so many lies, you will be included into the liar section also. Untrustworthy. All those synonyms will come back to you. So you have to be honest and upfront about your mistakes to your senior, elder, or your owner. So next question. We should be content with what life gives us. We can say that greed is a bottomless pit. So because once you try to fill your greed, you think like this one thing I will do, then I will stop. is never ending one. It can be never satisfied. It is a bottomless pit, because once you start throwing your one of your desires into it, it keeps on adding. You have to keep on adding it because you think that your greed will stop and then I will stop. No, it never stops. One small necklace, one small dress, one small nail polish, one small glasses, one small bike, and everything, it will go on, go on, go on. So greed is a bottomless pit. So we need contentment in our life. Contentment brings peace of mind and reduces unnecessary stress caused by comparison. We need to be happy. Like you have two hands, be happy. You should not ask for more hands for more work. Something like that. So you should be happy with like a little toy that you have. You should be happy. A little pen, enough. For it is used for writing. Extravagance is not necessary. Pen is something that we write with. It need not be of gold or silver in order to write. All pens write on it. They do not have gold ink or something. It is used for writing. When you need to write, you need a pen. It can be a 5 rupee pen, 10 rupee pen, something. You need not have a 1,000 rupee pen to write. So that is what. Be content with what you have. Do not have greed. We should appreciate what we have. We should develop gratitude for what we have. Be thankful. It is a blessing. So which it will lead to a happier and a more peaceful, fulfilling life for you. So contentment allows us to focus on growth rather than on constantly chasing what others possess. First, you have to concentrate on your life, not on others' life. And this story conveys that. So to conclude, the necklace highlights how vanity, pride, and desire appear wealthy to be wealthy, and all this can lead to a lifelong suffering to Matilda Loisel, because her pride and her greed and her vanity brought her this suffering for 10 years. And she was unhappy with her modest life, sustaining life. And she borrows a diamond necklace and she loses it also in one day. And to spend 10 hard years trying to replace it has made her much more in a pitiful condition. If she had been content with her life, she would have been content by now, or she could have actually bought a new house or more things. Without being greedy, she could have done more things. So in the final twist, she learns about the original amount of the necklace. It creates a tragic cost of all her sufferings. So the story teaches us the importance of honesty, contentment, and accepting one's reality with grace. So that brings us to the end of the story. Now they have few suggested reading books. Let us see. The Dowry by Guy de Maupassant. This is the same guy who wrote the this story also. So he's a famous French short story writer. You can say he is the father of short stories also. So in this first story, it is about a marriage transaction. How it so is, like the story follows a young bride whose marriage prospects depends entirely on the dowry that parents can offer. So Maupassant exposes the greed and materialism of society, where love and relationships are reduced to financial transactions. So that is what the story is about. Next is A Cup of Tea by Catherine Mansfield. So in this, a rich woman named Rosemary Fell impulsively invites a poor girl to her home out of vanity rather than kindness. She just wants to show off to people like that. Look at me, I am taking a poor girl and trying to show her the life and feeding her like that. Like she wants to just like a little, you can say that she wants to show off that she is being kind. So kindness doesn't need advertisement. So when her husband subtly reveals the girl's beauty, of how that girl is very beautiful and other things, Rosemary's insecurity of her own beauty surfaces and she sends the little girl away. So, revealing her superficial nature. So, this is what is wrong. You should not be like that. So, next book is The Bet by Anton Chekhov. So, this book is about two people, a banker and a lawyer, who wager that solitary confinement is better or worse than death. So, after 15 years in isolation, the lawyer renounces materials and wealth and walks away from the prize, that he doesn't want to even acknowledge the price. He just walks away, proving the hollowness of money and the depth of human perception. So, this brings us to the end of the our seventh story and our video also. So, if you have any doubts regarding today's video, the chapter or previous chapters, please feel free to contact us at Go Ask Now Academy or leave a comment below. We'll answer your questions. So, catch you soon in the next video. Thank you for watching.